Hey everybody, today I'm going to rescue a 1979 Ford pickup truck. The owner bought the property and the pickup truck was literally sitting in his front yard in the weeds since then. Last summer I saw it. You may remember a brief view of it from a video I had last summer, but the owner is wanting to sell it now, so he's asked me to come see if I can get it running. The difference with today's video is it's cold. It snowed here. I can't believe I'm in Tennessee, but it's going to be interesting to get this thing running when it's about 29, 30 degrees out today. So this should be fun. Come on along. All right, so this cold, snowy day, here's our project. A 79 Ford F100 Ranger. Been here a long time. Tires are shot. Looks like it was dragged here, the way that the tires are. However, at one time, this was a really nice truck. Two-tone. Like maybe it had a cover on it. It's got rust, as you can imagine. This tire is the same way as the other one. Whew, it's cold. Holding the phone with my bare hand. It's cold. Inside, you can pretty much see that the door panel's decent. The seat is decent. You know, there's a rip here. Look at that. It looks like it was green over a red seat, so maybe this isn't the original seat. The gas can, that's interesting. Some kind of door spark module. Though that's an original Ford hubcap right there. This air cleaner element is restored. It's an alternator on the floor over there. It's got carpet. Look at that, it's got AC. How many miles on this thing? 67. Could it be 67 original? Let's look at the pedals. That pedal is not very worn. This might be 67,000 original miles. That's a weird toy. It's got some, oh cool, some map gas. I brought my torch. I don't know if I'll need it today, but there's some map gas and some propane. Let's check out the floors. Oh, not good. Not good. Not good. There's some floor rust. Oh, look at that. The key's in it. Wow. The key is in it. Amazing. The light switch was pulled out for some reason. Huh. All right. Let's take a look at the back. This cover is going to trip me up at some point. Let's see if I can open this. Yeah, I can. You know, it doesn't smell, but it's certainly not a bad sign that it doesn't smell. Don't know if it's a good sign. You know, somebody did a crappy paint job here. It's got a chrome step bumper. Let's see if it's got a plate on it. No plate. No plate. That is a very old Mountain Dew can. Look at that. How cool is that? Cougar Baseball, Dixon County. No tailgate. It might be around here somewhere. These newspapers on top of the bed. Oh, this is a book of some type. Oh, what's this? What's this? Oh, it's music. Some kind of musical book. Huh. Let's see. Any date on these newspapers. You know, they're so badly shot, I can't really tell. (2011) Sunday, October 16, 2011. Well, that's a little scary. That means this has been sitting around at least since then, to have that newspaper on it. It's got some rot. This tire actually has air. How nice. How nice. If I can get this running, well, the other tires aren't going to air up. But maybe the two on this side will be fine, because this one doesn't look like it's been dragged. And maybe it's because the other side wheels are stuck and this one wasn't. It almost looks like this thing was pulled a little bit. I don't know if I can see a date code on these tires or not, but I'll check later because I'm freezing. As usual for these era Fords, the doors open and close beautifully. Headline is in great shape. Got a starter solenoid. Oh, I don't know what that's for. Some kind of starter solenoid, but not that I recognize. Whoops. What's this? Okay, those are books. There's something in this GTX box. Oh, a water pump. A water pump. Huh. Let's see what's in here. Not much, really. Not much. A few bulbs and stuff like that. Jacking instructions. Okay. This is going to be fun. Let's get rolling. First order of business. Is this thing stuck? I'll try to get the camera in here for you all to see what I'm doing, because I'm going to need two hands for this. So what I'm going to do here is just grab the belt and the fan and see if I can get the engine to turn. No, the belts are too cold. They're not getting any grip. So I'm going to try a wrench. Okay, got the wrench on it. It's pretty good grip. Let's see if it's stuck. Oh no, it's not stuck at all. Not at all. Beautiful. So, even though it's clearly not stuck, I'm going to go around 2 times just to make sure we don't have any issues with valves or anything else that might bind up. But I mean, this is turning beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I'll get back to you. No issues at all with it spinning around. So I'm going to pull a plug and see what they look like. They look like they've been in here for a long time. As you can imagine, it wasn't very tight. That always scares me when they're almost just a hair more than finger tight. Well, they tightened up on me. Turned a few times and then tightened up. See if you can see that. It's very carbon fouled, very. So it was running rich, and there's a hair bit of oil on it. So I'm going to clean this up. So before I put the plugs in, I'm going to just oil the threads a little bit with this stuff. A company sent this to me to try it out, so I said I would. Interestingly, this stuff is very different. It's not typical penetrating oil. I had never heard of it before, but it's super slippery and it smells really funny. I'm not sure like what to describe it as, but it doesn't smell like typical penetrating oil. So I'm going to try it. We'll see how it goes. And if I like it, I'm going to use it some more. So I'm just putting a little bit on the threads, taking care not to get any on the tip. I'm also going to put a real small amount of it in the cylinder. Just a little bit of lube. I'm not going to fill them with mystery oil or anything because the engine spins too easy. Okay, the second one on the driver's side is this same exact way. This one's going back in. Again, I'm going to put a little bit of this stuff in the cylinder. Just a bit, you know. Just a hair bit of lubrication as it turns over. I'm going to do the rest of these and get back to you. Alright, so as far as the brakes go, looks like the front brakes have plenty of fluid in them, the rears do not, so it might have a blown line. So it appears to have some semblance of brakes, and it must be the fronts. Plugs are all checked, they're all fine. There were a few that were finger tight. Don't know why, always worries me when I see that. But there's so many threads on these plugs. The Ford plugs are super long with a lot of threads that I don't think it was causing any real problem. These battery terminal connections that I'm cleaning are very bad, and this positive wire is really all, it's a tiny wire, and it's all corroded and broken. I don't know if I'm going to get enough current to flow through this thing, but we'll try it. I'm going to put a battery in and see if this thing cranks over. I'm amazed it's Tennessee. Really amazed. It is cold. Okay, battery's sitting in there. Something I just noticed. Look at this. Look at how loose that is. I mean, that couldn't have been a good connection. And this whole solenoid is like twisted. It's not supposed to sit at an angle on this thing. It's supposed to sit like that. So I've got to clean this up before I go any further. Well, I'm glad I took it off. This connection is really bad. And that was going to inhibit the current flow to the starter. So I've got to clean this up before I go any further. All right, both sides of the solenoid were loose, but they're cleaned up now, they're tight. So I'm going to try touching the battery terminal here, see if it smokes. Oh boy. Okay, gonna have to reroute this cable for a sec. This isn't quite the right battery. This is a group 24, and I think it's 24G or something, where the posts are on the other side, which is kind of what I need. So this negative battery cable barely reaches, but what I noticed is I'm getting a spark there. So I don't know if there's any lights on or something. I know the headlights aren't on, but there is a spark there, which is not good, but I'm going to check inside, make sure there's nothing that was emanating any smoke or anything. It could be anything really. The key is not on. Oh, it wasn't in park. Glad I checked that. Could be a lot of things, but it's a small spark, so I'm not too worried about it. I don't know if maybe these Ford Dura sparks draw a little bit. I doubt it, but I don't really have any other explanation for it. But I'm going to hook it up, and I'm going to hook my trigger up and see if this thing will turn over. All right, here's a big step. Is this thing going to turn over? My trigger here. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Starter sounds good. Turning over good. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, I'm going to go to fuel next. Hook up a fuel system. Okay, got my fuel system hooked up with this funnel. It's going to fill the funnel with gas, but I'm going to clean the top of this carburetor first. A lot of crap up here. Okay. The oil is near full, and it's pretty black, but there's no water in it, near as I can tell. The radiator, the cap was super loose. I don't see anything in there whatsoever. No, it's dry. So I'll have to beware of that. I did bring some coolant so I can get this thing fired. I'll put some coolant in it. Okay, next step. Since it's got the key, I'm going to turn the key on, turn it over, and see if I've got spark. In case you haven't seen one of these before, this is when I say I'm using a spark checker, this is what I mean. It just goes in line with the plug wire. This goes on the plug, this goes on the wire, and if you get spark, you'll see it in there. So it's a super easy way to see if you're getting spark to the plug. I did check under the cap, not much going on in there because this is electronic ignition, but it all looks good. All right, let's see if this has spark. This is pretty important because there is an electronic module on the seat. Hopefully that's not because this truck needs one. There is spark there. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, I'm gonna put some fuel down the carb next. It's cold, so I'm not sure how this is gonna do, but I've got gas in the carb. I'm gonna see if it'll fire. Unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, it fired. So now take it the next step. Put fuel actually in the funnel and see if we can get it to do more than just kick. All right, let's see if this will go. Probably a little too aggressive. It's closing up a little too much. But yeah, that ran, man. Okay, gonna try that again. It's possible that I ran out of gas and that's why it stalled. Maybe. Let's find out. Should kick over again if that's the case. I'm putting some fuel in the balls as well.
at that. Can you believe it? I mean, it is sitting there. The engine is dead cold. It's about 32, maybe 31 degrees outside. Maybe even colder. And it's just sitting there idle. Wow. That's awesome. That is so awesome. So the only problem I can see with it is the choke wants to close. Wow. So it explains also the reason it kicked over and fired. It explains what that spark was. The key must be on, even though it doesn't indicate it's on, it must be on. And that's what the spark is, because I never hooked up the ignition. I just got spark from it anyway. I'm going to fire this up again. Okay. Idle this thing up a little bit. Check the oil pressure. It's real good. I mean, it's idling very low. I don't know if you can see that needle, but oil pressure's good. I wonder if the lights work. They appear to. Yep, lights work. Oh, this is fantastic. Fantastic. I just put 3/4 of a gallon of coolant in it, and it was full, so that means it's not super dry. It does, you know, it's not running super smooth, but it's such a low idle, and who knows how long this has been sitting. But I don't see any evidence of blow dry, blow by. A slight lifter tick, very, very slight. The accelerator pump works. There's no carb leaks. It's crazy. Okay, it does tend to want to stall. It didn't run out of gas. It's actually not using much gas. I'm gonna have to turn the idle up a little bit. There's fluid on the stick, certainly enough to put it in gear. See if it actually, the transmission engages. So that's the next thing I'm going to try. All right, let's see if this thing goes into gear. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Let's reverse. Oh yeah. Yep. Warmed up the oil pressure dropped a little bit. Temp is good. It's not charging. Oh, I wonder if the heat works. The heat doesn't seem to work. This key does nothing. Well, it actually does do something. Huh. Okay. I'm not going to play with that too much. But it's running good. I did have to plug, there was a big vacuum line at the base of the carb. The one that goes to the PCV was leaking. So I plugged that off. It made a huge difference in how this thing is running. Huge. Thermostat's open now. Getting better and better the warmer it gets. But I did notice this is a little concerning. It's got a fair amount of blow-by. Now that might go away with a few, hot heating and cooling cycles of the engine. But it is a little concerning right now, but not super concerning. It's not smoking out the back. Muffler ends right there, the exhaust, and it sounds great. No issues at all. I wonder if it's got dual exhaust. Can't really tell. Yeah, it does. It's got dual exhaust. This side sounds good. Neither side is smoking. I love these Ford engines. They're just so reliable. Unbelievable, really. Unbelievable. So I've let it run a while. It gets better and better, but one thing I noticed, look at that inside the radiator. Now it's not unusual, there's going to be crap in there, but it really shouldn't be like that. This radiator is going to need to be flushed, the whole cooling system. It's also not as hot as I would think it would be. The thermostat's working, the radiator's working, the engine's just seems to run super cool, and I guess it's because it's the temperature out here. It's just so cold out. The alternator's not working, so that's one thing that it needs. Could just be messed up wiring. Like this wire hanging here, I don't know what that does. So there's a few vacuum leaks that need to be addressed. Typical with these Fords, this base plate here that's got the EGR in it, they're problematic. It may be leaking there, but for the most part, this is a pretty cool truck, and it is for sale. I think the owner's asking $3 grand for it, I think, in the condition it's in, but I'll check with him to be sure. He might be tempted to come down because it needs tires, but I will check with him. So I'm going to work on this a little more, get right back to you. Maybe it's just barely charging. Maybe. You try the headlights and we'll see. on this side. Yep. Check the back. Yeah, okay, they're working on that side too. So it's probably just a bad bulb, a couple of bad bulbs. Somebody always asks about the horn, so I'm gonna see if that works. Doesn't seem to. Doesn't seem to, but I tried. It's running better and better the warmer it gets, but there's a serious vacuum leak in that base plate where the EGR is. But other than that, this thing is in really good shape. Next step, I'm going to hook up the fuel pump. The tank might be empty because the pump hasn't pumped anything, but I'm going to hook it up to see. All right, I've got the fuel pump hooked up to a gas tank. It opened up here. So if it's pumping, it'll pump gas out. I'll have to shut it off real fast if it does that. Let's see. Nothing. Nothing. Unfortunately, the fuel pump has had it, but at least I tried. All right, on to the next. It's running better and better and better. Look at how easy this thing starts now. Just like that. I put the air filter back on. I don't like he's sitting with the carb off, and I have no idea how long this is going to sit. Maybe it'll sell right away. I think it will. No reason it shouldn't. Needs a fuel pump. Needs an alternator, but the alternator's inside the cab. Oh, good. Let this girl run out of gas. Call it a day. Nice afternoon's work. Great Ford truck. It's running great. It appears to have brakes. It's manual brakes, and it appears to have brakes. But this thing's nearly ready to go. It's nearly a usable truck. Fuel pump. Put the alternator in that's in the front seat, which I might do before I leave today. And a few other small things. Change some bulbs in the directionals and such. And this could be a usable truck. I'm back at it a few days later. Snow is gone. It's actually a pretty warm day today. It's been raining. It's a little wet. I'm going to see if I can get these tires off, get some better tires on it, and drive it out of here. Got to check to see if the wheel is stuck. It's not. That's a great sign. These lug nuts were pretty tight, but I did get them all off. Get this wheel off now. Let's see what lies beneath. Okay, not bad at all. Not bad at all. This does spin. Brake hose is shot. Right, look at that. It's completely shot. But don't see anything really significantly bad other than it's been sitting a very long time. This tire's obviously not going to be salvageable. It's completely off the rim, and it's got a huge hole in it right there. So I'm on the hunt for another rim. One more thing while I'm here. Look at that cab mount. That's in amazing condition. Those are the bushings for the front end. That's a good sign. One down and one to go. I found this thing laying on the ground a few hundred yards from here. It's taken air and it's holding it, and it is the right rim. It's a super small tire. It's 215/70/15, but I don't really care about that. It's tall enough to keep it off the ground, and that's what's important. After this is on, I'm going to move on to the back. I'm having a real hard time finding another rim and tire, so I may have to see if I can salvage the one on the back. This one I found looks like the right one. The tire was in really warped shape, so I put air in it, and I'm checking if it's going to hold it. It holds air and it fits. So I'm going to tighten this up, and these were real tough to get off. I'm going to tighten it up and see if we can get this running and moving. Back under the hood, it looks so familiar to me, like I was here 4 days ago. I'm going to give the fuel pump another try. I'm going to prime it with gas this time. Maybe it'll pick up a suction with a prime. All right, let's give it a try. Battery's hooked up. I'm going to prime the fuel pump here. I'm going to fill up the bowls, and then I'm going to crank it over. All right, let's try it. Excellent. Well, as you can see, it started right up, but more gas spilled out of the funnel than was sucked out of the funnel. So I'm going to give it one more try, but I think that fuel pump is junk. Okay, have an auxiliary fuel tank here. Feeding right into the carburetor, so no fuel pump required. All right, let's see if this baby moves. Let's do it. problems. It's even got brakes. It even got brakes. Of course, my fuel tank kind of limits how far I can go, but I've gone far enough in it, as far as I wanted to go. Great truck. Those junkyard tires and wheels, they held up just fine. This one and this one. They held up just fine. It doesn't look that great, but it's a cool truck. I think the owner wants $3 grand. I'll verify that and put it in the description. And this is where it was. Kind of in this low-lying hole. Not a good place for an old truck to be. And what I did was, I backed it right up this hill here, right up through here, kind of narrow because there's a tree stump right there and this camper right here. Got it up through here. The rear end kept sliding to the side here. I think this thing might have limited slip. The way it has to. The way it was sliding, it has to. So that's an added bonus of this truck. All right, some people may ask, how's the bed in this thing? Not so great. Not so great. Now that the snow is gone, I can actually see how bad it is. And it's bad. It is bad. It really needs a completely new bed floor. And he does have one, I believe. I believe he's got a whole bed out in the back. So maybe you could make a deal with him on it. So there you have it. Couple of days of work. Got this awesome 79 Ford out of its pit. I mean, it was like a grave over there. It was so low-lying and muddy, and it's amazing that it got out. It took a few tries, but it got out. And now hopefully someone can buy this thing and enjoy it. Put it back on the road, maybe use it for dump runs or whatever. It's too good to junk, that's for sure. And by getting it going, I think I've assured that it will not get junked, that it's going to get sold to someone who will take care of it. Thank you so much for watching. Couldn't do this stuff without you. Subscribers, viewers, thank you very much. You guys are all awesome, and I really appreciate it. We've got some really nice ones coming up, so see you then.